Welcome to the Blue Cafe. We bring you stories of faith, love, and devotion. Yeah, just kidding, please help us grow by hitting that like button. Now on to the story. The End of Reason, and Probably My Marriage Needs Support prelude. My wife entered my life more than 15 years ago, as a teenager. After a couple years of being friends, we admitted we had more to share with each other and entered into a romantic relationship. I struck gold, she was out of my league and everyone knew it but her. As we grew into adults, her goals and ambitions became mine, and she selflessly made mine hers. We developed a mature love at a young age. We lived apart in college, and in different states altogether in our upperclassmen years. As anyone who has stepped foot on a college campus can attest, it takes a special kind of trust and respect for the dignity of your significant other to not cave to campus temptations, but we made it through with nothing more than forgivable demerits. Our first pregnancy occurred in our 7th year together. It was entirely unplanned and unexpected, and we were rightfully terrified of becoming parents. Fresh out of college and worth less than the clothes on our back with a medical circumstance that would delay the start of my career by about 6 months, fate was pointing to her parents' basement. This didn't settle with me. I found a dead-end door-to-door sales job that I left after a month because the panic attacks became intolerable, but not before I scrapped together the $1,000 we needed for the eventual deposit on our apartment. My medical circumstances passed and my job search took a turn for the better. We secured an apartment from an ownership group that had denied us at the beginning of the pregnancy. I literally walked into the office with a copy of my job offer and said, "See? I'll have the money." We moved in 18 days before the birth without even an item of furniture. Our first night of independence was spent eating leftover pizza on the floor of our new apartment while watching movies on my laptop because we didn't own a TV. But our new home was beautiful, we were proud, and we raised our daughter there for the next 2 years. In our 10th year together, a second pregnancy greeted us with surprise and we greeted it with elation. Okay, sure, our hearts skipped a beat, but then we were elated. But we had outgrown our small home, and it was time to find a better one. Better turned out to be much, much better, a testament to our investment in ourselves and shared commitment to financial wellness. Interlude. Now, the biggest regret I have in my relationship is not asking for marriage sooner. We justified putting it off on practical grounds. But we confessed to each other that it is something we both wanted, and it was clear that we'd have already wed if our cards had played differently. Our engagement was celebrated, and then promptly interrupted with the arrival of COVID in the United States just weeks later. But after an elongated engagement, we planned an extravagant wedding in a dreamy destination, a toast to the lives we carved for ourselves and the years yet to come. Before our families and closest friends, I expressed my love for her, my promise to be faithful, and made a commitment to endure even during the worst times. I gave her my vows. How fortunate am I to marry the girl I fell in love with more than 13 years ago. We were teenagers and it was an innocent love, but it was love. When we were older and lived apart, I fell in love with you again. This was a different love though, a more mature love weaved with dignity and trust. And of course there's the love I discovered for our girls, for our family, and for you as a mother. There are all kinds of love in this world, but never the same love twice. The point isn't to fall in love once, but over and over again for the rest of our lives. And that is what I vow to do. I've known my wife for 15 years and have been in love for nearly as long, and now we've been married for 8 months. D-Day. Unfortunately, there's a lot more to say about the past 2 days than there is about the last 15 years. 2 days ago, my wife confessed to me that she is in love with a female colleague of hers. Dumbstruck that she was coming out to me as bisexual and leaving me in the same breath, she calmly explained that she was having an emotional and physical affair with this woman over 8 or 9 occasions in the past 2 months and she is making the decision to end our marriage and pursue this new relationship, but she is excited to co-parent with me. She is confident that she is not destroying our family, rather, she is helping our children since they no longer need to observe an unhappy marriage. I was blindsided, as this is the first time the words unhappy marriage had ever been presented in a conversation of ours. I've spent nearly 50% of my life as a partner to this woman, and in 30 seconds she shared how flagrantly and unremorsefully she violated her promise of fidelity to me, while also robbing me of the opportunity to honor my vows for better or for worse. My evening today ended particularly dramatically, with the affair partner telling me on the phone that my wife is a strong, confident woman who can make decisions on her own. I agreed, but also reminded her that my wife's business is none of her ducking business. After pressing her, she conceded that this is not the first marriage she has involved herself in, but true love can't be explained with reason or logic, and time spent in a relationship is a trivial factor for love. She believes she's never loved a woman like she loves my wife, she never will again, and she is prepared for my wife and children to move in with her. My wife is far less romantic about her affection for her affair partner, but resolute that she is the best thing for her right now. The affair partner further lectured me that every woman needs to find her truth, the same mercurial words that have entered my wife's vocabulary in the past 48 hours. When pressed further on whether she has even a basic appreciation for the marriage she is abetting the destruction of, she said her view of marriage is probably different than mine since she was denied the right to marry until 2015, a sideways confession that she had considered my life and family and decided we don't matter. My wife's values have completely shifted in an alarmingly short period of time. When I point this out to her, she accuses me of gaslighting her, claiming she has always believed that marriage is a patriarchal institution designed to trap women in marriages even if they are unhappy, and ours was a simple legal agreement she is choosing to vacate. In any case, she continued, she has reached the truth that she hasn't been in love with me for at least 5 years and she never should have married me in the first place. Any attempt to persuade her otherwise is met with contempt, and if I try to appeal to a sense of decency and morality, she shuts down the conversation by accusing me of flexing paternalistic superiority over her. While she admits she should have handled this differently, she refuses to regret it, and any topic that touches on how her exceptionally poor judgment is bound to lead to a sad and grievous outcome for our family is completely off limits to her. I love my wife deeply and I will keep my vows because I meant them when I said them, and I owe at least that much to my children, but these events have left our marriage circling the drain at a record pace. The wife you knew is dead, and you have to start treating the marriage the same way. She is very deep in the fog, and reasoning will not change it. Stop doing the pick-me dance, it never works, and implement the grey rock or 180 method. You can Google it for more details. This is critical. Re-engage with friends and form a new social life. See a lawyer to get all your options. Her new relationship will fizzle out, so be prepared for her to come back begging in the future. This is going to get tougher, so you will need an emotional support structure. Sending strength. Her new relationship will fizzle out, so be prepared for her to come back begging in the future. If she does this, please don't take her back. There is no coming back from this sort of betrayal when it is delivered with such disregard for your feelings and a complete lack of remorse and empathy. The person you thought she was does not exist. Instead, remind yourself of the toxic person she has become and behave accordingly. My uncle's ex-wife tried to come back. She also left him for a woman. He was so mad he called the woman up and told her to come and get her. She could have her. He also told her he was helping her pack as they were speaking. She was in shock at the speed he was moving. He served her divorce papers 2 weeks later. It was epic. Not only is she dead, but you also would have never married this person in the first place. Seeing that she doesn't exist, your only focus is your children. Do not let them live with them. Tell your STBX she can move in with this woman today, but it will forever be a no-go for the children. If you can accept her new relationship, the least she can do is accept the reality of you raising your children. She broke this and she should accept the consequences. Taking away your wife's AP being the same sex as her and theirs is nothing more than any other tawdry affair. It has the same hallmarks of delusion, the same elements of blame shifting and deflection, and the same rewriting of history as every other affair. For two people determined to live their truth, they started as a lie. Like every other affair. They're not different. Or special. Stop talking to the AP and start grey rocking your wife. Get a lawyer and start looking after yourself. Custody and finances are the most important thing. Focus only on yourself and your kids. Yes, other than coming out being a solid excuse to believe in the delusion that this isn't a 99% affair, the gender of those involved is irrelevant. Seriously, this pointing finger, pointing finger, pointing finger, pointing finger. Story 2. Advice, please. I know she's cheated, but I'm frozen in place. Advice, I need help, please. My wife, 47F, and I, 50M, have been married 15 years. 14 months ago, I became aware that she had developed feelings for a coworker. I confronted her about this. She said it was just a dumb crush, and that it would stop. Wanting to be the ever-supportive spouse, and hating conflict, I forgave her and we moved on. However, through extensive snooping, I know these feelings have continued to the point where she loves him, or at least once did. Lately, it's all cooled off, a decision they made together, and she's acting mostly back to how she did before this happened. I understand some of you see this as a black and white issue. She cheated. Boot her out and ruin her life, but that's just not who I am. Here are the things I struggle with, and why I haven't addressed this yet. We have 5 kids aged 8 to 16, and this would devastate them and uproot everything in their lives. She and I get along fine. I mean, are my needs really met? No. And am I constantly thinking about this? Yes. But life in the house is very calm and very safe for everyone. Even if I do bring up the issue about the other guy, how I came to find out, heavy snooping, isn't something I know how to justify, and I know is a bell that is impossible to unring. Financially, a divorce would make life miserable, even borderline unsurvivable in some ways. My therapist says until I know what I want, I shouldn't bring it up, something I agree with. And even if I do figure that out and bring it up, how exactly do I do it when she can be volatile? I guess my questions are: what strategies would you suggest for determining what I want from this? Until I know what I want, is there any point in seeing a lawyer? Any strategies anyone can offer for bringing this all to light with her? Let's say in a perfect world she does a complete 180 and starts showing me all of the attention and affection I need. I'm pretty sure I can't get past some of the things she wrote in her journal about his place in her life and heart. How do people move on? Like I said, it's not as black and white for me as others would see it, but I'm looking for advice. This is the only thing in my head most days, and it's starting to change who I am as a person. Thanks in advance for any help offered. Sounds like you need to learn to be a little selfish. I bet you are so used to taking care of your family that you don't know how to even ask for what you want. Create some distance from your wife and see how it feels. Hit the gym. Find some hobbies just for you. Learn that it's okay for you to be happy and enjoy things by yourself or with friends. Awesome answer. Smile. When my hubby was cheating last year, I was so upset and disappointed with him. I was a very good mom and wife for 12 years, but one day I take the best advice for a friend: take care of me and go to the gym, go out with my friends and give him all the space he wants. Actually, I don't care what he is doing. I learned something: women never need to put their lives down for marriage. He is very selfish by staying within this marriage just because it's his comfort zone. It is black and white. You're adding yellow to this to avoid conflict. Conflict was there, it happened. She had a relationship with someone else while married to you, and you ducked your head in the sand. Your needs aren't being met, but the house is calm and peaceful? That's called content and not happy. You can't justify snooping? Alienation of emotions from your partner. The intimacy you required was given to someone else. Someone lived a love story with your wife without even having to help with your mortgage. All of that is justifiable. If you can't stand up and look another person in the face and say that's my wife, back off, then is she your wife? Or is she a roommate that shares the bills? Where is your passion? Where is the fire in you up? You wanna be happy? Get that fire back. Don't be content, don't be afraid to cross the line. Do you walk into a room where your wife is and look at her like a predator about to pounce on some prey? Do you walk up to her, give her ass a grab and whisper in her ear, mine? I hate cheaters, but I hate lackluster reasons for staying together more. You want a happy up, get your passion back. Get your zeal for life back. This whole I'm the bad person because I snooped crap drives me nuts. If you suspect someone is being unfaithful, and you snoop their phone and find out you're correct, how was that snooping a bad thing? Invasion of privacy, my ass. How about responsibility to yourself to not catch the clap? You can't invade your spouse's privacy, as that's the one person who shouldn't have secrets from you. Or am I wrong? No, you certainly are not wrong. If I may add, they are entitled to privacy and not secrecy. Metal. What a great freaking comment. Up won't listen but he should. Great advice. Emo, if you have a legit suspicion and a gut feeling that just won't go away, then snooping is justified. Very solid and honest advice, because it's true. I'll just say this, when my brother found out about his first wife's affair, he kept quiet, did more digging, tried to act normal until he just couldn't any longer. It got messy, a bad confrontation. Then they decide to reconcile for their son. It destroyed my brother and he slowly became a defeated, broken version of himself that no one recognized. 3 years later we got him help, and he finally chose himself, divorced, and started to breathe again. Whatever you decide, be 100% committed to it and don't lose yourself in the process. If you stay, you don't get over it, ever. It doesn't stop haunting you, ever, but if you stay you'll need coping strategies and 100% full commitment in return from your wife. Sometimes kids are better off with 2 separate healthy homes than 1 miserable home. Good luck. The final confrontation is coming soon, advice needed. Advice. After a long time, I'm finally out of the fog and ready to act. I'm not happy that it's taken me as long as it has, but, to use a phrase that annoys me, it is what it is. A quick history, I've confronted her about this 3 or 4 times over the last year and a half. She gaslit, Davos, etc. I hoped the talks would shake her out of her behavior. I was wrong. Now, I'm done. Finally. But before I do that, I just have a few should I? Questions. Should I tell her I've seen an attorney? Should I tell her how I know, since it involves me going full-on Sherlock Holmes and documenting every journal entry about the affair? Should I have a "this is what is going to happen" plan, or can I just make the first move, confronting her, before figuring the rest out? And although this doesn't follow the should I pattern, any advice on how I can wrap my brain around and come to terms with what all of this is going to do to our kids? Thank you for any advice. No, do not tell her you've seen an attorney until you are ready to pull the trigger. Keep your powder dry on that, so to speak, until you are actually ready to file divorce. No. Don't give her a chance to erase evidence or try to manipulate it to turn people against you. Let her wallow in the paranoia that comes with, how did he figure that out? I would not confront her until you have a plan and are fully ready to execute it. Never give the enemy your battle plans before the battle has begun. Telling her before your plan is in motion just gives her a chance to duck up your plans. No good way. You're going to have to take it day by day and just be there for your kids as best you can. Don't use your kids as weapons, but also don't be afraid of being honest with them, in an age-appropriate manner, to prevent her from poisoning them against you. For example, to prevent "daddy doesn't love mommy anymore, so daddy won't let us all live together anymore." I just read your last post. I am sorry that you're going through this. Have the paperwork drawn up. You do not need it filed at this time. Have someone, even if it is a family member or good friend, around when you present the divorce paperwork to her. Never answer any questions about how you found out. Just say it was brought to your attention. Do not tell her about the evidence that you have. Only bring it out when you're divorcing and your attorney show her attorney. Your attorney should recommend someone who can give you information about family court. Hopefully part, if not all, can assist you. No, do not tell her. File for divorce and have her served at work. You have to act decisively and with determination. Start grey rocking her. Remember, just because you file for divorce, does not mean you have to go through with it, although you should be willing to go through with it if she continues. She must face consequences for her infidelity. This means outing her to friends, family and HR if the AP is a co-worker. You must be willing to burn your marriage to the ground in order to save it. If your actions cause her to get out of the affair fog and come crawling to you begging for forgiveness, then you are now in control of your life. If the opposite happens and she wants the divorce, then you are now in control of your life. Either way, filing for divorce is the only action that puts you in control of your life. Anything else puts you in limbo and makes you her dancing monkey. If you have concrete proof, no need to tell her anything about how you found out. She might cry, she might shout at you and demand you tell her who told you, but remember that you can just refuse to answer. If you tell her you spied on her or went Sherlock Holmes, it gives her a chance to cause a lot of secondary mayhem. Like claiming you breached her privacy or played the victim game. Some places also have laws against breach of privacy. So refuse to answer. Say it to her out loud when she asks, "No, I refuse to tell you how I found out." Nothing good will come out of you telling her, but if you don't, at least you'll be safe from legal trouble and she won't get a chance to play the victim card. And yes, make a plan. In the heat of the moment you often forget what you have to say. If she was a cheater for this long, she was a master manipulator. This means she can easily get into your head with her words. Make sure you keep yourself adequately ready for her manipulative tactics, victim blaming, gaslighting, because she will 100% try that. Keep a rigid plan about your next steps of action and stick to it. Do not make rash decisions because she will try to manipulate you. If you are 100% sure you want to divorce, then tell her about the attorney too. Why not? Drop all the bombs on her at once so she knows immediately that there's no chance. No. Let it be a shock to her when she's served. My opinion. No. Never ever give up your source of information nor how much you know. Never. Do what your attorney says to do. And have a plan. That's part of the plan with your attorney, what you'll seek from child support. Also, be honest with your kids. Don't lie. Tell them, in an age-appropriate manner, what's happening and why. You don't want her to turn them against you with her lies, and you know she's capable of lying. No, don't tell her, finally you have the upper hand, so don't waste it. No, it will only make you look weak to her, but you could mess with her mind and tell her something like, "Your friends told me enough to just mess up her social circle." Don't do anything except serving her the divorce paper. You are going to show your kids what someone with self-respect is supposed to do in this situation, and you are going to show them that bad behavior has consequences, and don't lie to them. Their entire life is about to change. They deserve to know why. Follow your lawyer's advice and make the best case possible. Don't believe her when she tries to gaslight you again, and limit contact to the kids' stuff. Stay strong. It's a hard choice, but sometimes the best choice is the hard one. No, do not tell her anything. Let her first indication that something is going on be when she is served divorce papers. If she knows what you are doing, she may try and destroy any evidence and or make it harder for you to find things out. Very important to get all your ducks in a row if you live in an at-fault state. Until the divorce is finalized, never let her know how much you know, only that you know that she is cheating. Let your lawyer decide when the information is disclosed. This means she doesn't know what she can gaslight and lie about, which usually means you can catch her in all her lies, but don't let her know you have evidence to prove her wrong. But sometimes it means they may confess to some things you didn't know about previously. Once the divorce is finalized, you can go nuclear and send everything to her, friend, family, and expose her as a cheater to everyone. Remember, revenge porn laws may apply where you live, so be careful with pics and videos. Save the "this is what is going to happen" speech until after she has been served. And honestly, I wouldn't do that until I cleared it with my attorney, or not at all. U/Puch80 said it best: the more she knows about your plan, the more she can disrupt it. Keep her in the dark as much as possible. Agree also with the no good way to tell the kids. My suggestion is mommy fell in love with someone else, so we are breaking up so she can be with him. We are still your mommy and daddy though, and still love you. You have been nice long enough. She could have come clean multiple times but decided to keep on betraying and lying to you. So no more Mr. Nice Guy. Go see the attorney, have the papers ready, and have her served, preferably at an uncomfortable place for her. Do not confront before she is served. Do not let her know anything. When she asks what this is all about, then just say you have undeniable proof she cheated. Do not let her see the proof. Do not let her know how you got it. Just tell her you will show the court or the lawyers if necessary. In short, do not let her see your cards. Story 3. I don't know who needs to hear this, but it's Christmas, so I am giving gift of solid advice from my experience and NSFW. My advice: do not duck and go back after you leave. Caught my fiance with one guy before and one other suspected guy. Broke up with her for about a month. Got back together because why not? It's Christmas. Today I was at the mall with her and a guy called. I picked up, heard "Hey babe, what you doing?" Immediately flipped on the guy. He got scared and hung up, then called me back to explain the situation. He told me she ducks around and he knows about it but didn't know she had a fiance, lol. Nonetheless, I left her ass and found out she spent Christmas Eve with the guy I spoke to. No morals at all. I should have not gone back thinking Christmas changed anything. No ducks were given, and to all a good night and Merry Christmas. Hope yours is better than mine. She said I cheated on her and I made up that she cheated, lol. Needs support. Christmas Eve I caught my fiance cheating, spoke with the other man and determined it had been going on for a while. Broke it off and she spent Christmas Eve with the other man. Come Christmas, she keeps texting me to come over to see her family and she is sorry and misses me a lot. I told her to duck off. I just spoke to her brother-in-law who I am close to, and come to find out she told her family I cheated on her. That was why I wasn't at the family Christmas gathering. I also told her brother-in-law that she cheated and she told him that I made it all up and there was no other man, lol. So now her whole family thinks I cheated on her and didn't attend the Christmas gathering because I was with another woman. I don't even know how to react anymore. I feel like I am going crazy. Send your proof if you care about your relationship with your Bill or the whole family or your reputation there. If you don't care, then just ignore this trashy narcissistic woman. Only proof I have is the other guy's phone number. I have a feeling he will lie for her though if they called him. You've got the texts she sent you. Other reply got flagged, but I said some pretty nasty things in those texts as I was still pissed. I can't post those texts here as it will get flagged, but the whole telling her to duck off was a bit longer than that. I think sending proof will only worsen the situation. Unless he has photographic evidence. Because they could just say he altered or falsified any texts or digital communication. She's using Davo. Deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. My ex did the same to me. She told everyone I was abusive, controlling, and cheated on her. But my kids refused to even talk to her because she treated them so poorly. Also, she got pregnant twice with other men's babies while we were still married. So I don't think anyone considers her credible anymore. This actually makes sense once I read this. Thank you. Davo is hopelessly common with infidelity. Sorry you're going through this. You'll come out on the other side. Godspeed. Who cares what her family thinks? They raised her and are likely part of the problem. Cut ties and move on. Do you have kids with her? Because this is the type of crazy narcissism that you should run from. No kids. We broke up Christmas Eve already. Just this news ducks with me that now her whole family thinks it's me that caused the breakup. You are extremely lucky that you don't have kids with her. I have a child with one of these monsters and it honestly makes life a living hell because I can't escape him. You can. Just walk away completely, grieve her absence, and move on with your life. You have a clear path on getting the hell out of there. And one day, you'll be over her. And honestly, her family would probably take her side anyway if they knew the truth. It's very rare for families to shun their own. They won't have the same outrage that you have regarding what she did. My ex's family didn't, and neither did so many other families based on these posts. But if you indeed had been the one to cheat, they would rage against you for sure. So they would either be neutral on the situation or rage on her behalf. It's a loss, her family and her. This is true. He is lucky as I feel your pain as well. I'm glad you are away from that, but it does really suck how she's twisting it. If it makes you feel better, her personality was likely mirrored from other people in her family. So, whether she lied or not, the family probably would have protected her either way and blamed you. Just be glad you don't have to deal with any of them or their mess. Good for you. Stay strong and move on. Hopefully you told the brother you did not cheat and she did. The truth will often come out. WTF am I doing? He believes me, pretty sure the truth will come out at some point if she ever introduces the other guy to her family. What type of red flags to look for? Advice. I just got out of my current cheater-fiancé relationship after giving her 2 chances which she blew through. Going to start dating again and want to see what type of red flags to look for. This is the first girl that ever cheated on me, so I was a bit blindsided. Looking for red flags you may have noticed with your relationship in the beginning. Anyways, some red flags that I noticed in the beginning. Makes you fall in love fast, calls and texts you all day to make you feel like you are everything. Lies, lots of lies and stories that don't make sense. Also shows no remorse for lying when you point them out. Lots of guy friends on social. Said she stopped using dating apps but they were still installed on her phone. Hides her phone. When we eat dinner out, she puts her phone screen face down. I noticed this in the beginning and it didn't bother me, but now I notice it and know why. Mate, I tried to send you decent info but the auto mod apparently got hurt over a word or something. DM me if you want screenshots of what was said. Send it to me too. I can't go through this again. It will be at least a year from now before I even attempt to seek someone else. We all know the big ticket items like the phone, them not being where they should, etc. Here's some less common indicators. These all show that your so has come into contact with someone they find influential. Change in musical taste, more in line with future AP. Change in political opinions, more in line with future AP. Change in vocabulary, has picked up new phrases, picked up from future AP. Interest in a new sports team, AP's team. Increased rivalry with same sex, compares you to others, asks if you find ex-celebrity attractive, peacocking. Buys things which fall outside their usual tastes, food, clothes etc., especially more sexy underwear or clothes that would be appealing to the sex of the partner they find desirable, has recently tried something outside their comfort zone, improving their shop window, wants to be seen. Increase in coping activities, gym, drinking etc., self-improvement to be more attractive, knows they are doing wrong and need a crutch. Overreacts to small issues like if the dishwasher wasn't emptied it results in a 3-day sulk, justifies emotional distancing, used as an excuse to storm out the seek out AP. Interest in another culture/country out of nowhere, AP is of a different culture, has interests or a history with this culture. reminiscing about the past, high school, old jobs or places, has reconnected with someone from the past or is considering what-if scenarios. New interests and hobbies, an excuse to be apart, AP likes these things. Sudden interest in mobile games, acclimatizing you to seeing the phone in their hand, Discord servers and gaming headsets, plays games with a chat function, VR, for example Stardew Valley has a chat function which is accessible/switched off with a single click, simulated sex, relationships, mods and an infidelity bonanza. TLDR, basically if your partner changes then there is a reason. No one changes just because. And you might not like the reason why even though the change itself seems good for you or your partner. This is a great list. A dramatic change in musical taste is one of the big things that stood out to me. She also started dressing differently, kind of edgy and younger. AP was much younger. I didn't know anything about the video games part you mentioned. Scared face, comparing to other person is spot on. Kicking out my so soon just for that reason. Great pointers. Thank you for sharing. Update, it gets crazier as I remove myself from the situation. Update. From my previous posts. It got crazier. I am fully removed from the situation and blocked my ex-fiancé. I also wrote a long email and sent it to my ex-fiancé's family explaining everything that happened and how she cheated on me. I just spoke to my ex-fiancé's brother-in-law and he told me her family doesn't believe me. My ex-fiancé convinced them I was lying and a sex addict that raped her and was a huge horn dog. And that I made up the story because she didn't want to have sex with me and I cheated on her because of my sex addiction. She also said AP does not exist and doesn't know anyone with that phone number/name, lol. The good thing is that I am so far removed from her that I don't care. She can lie all she wants, I don't care, and I don't want to argue with a liar. I have started to move on by trying to see other people and just deleting her out of my life. At times I do think of her, but I know it's an illusion. I didn't know she was a batshit crazy liar when I proposed to her. Wow. It will all come out sooner or later. Happy New Year and don't spend another nanosecond thinking of the crazy man. Talk about dodging a bullet. You got a guardian angel for sure. Don't be so casual and take her lies seriously. She is laying the foundations to make your life difficult and you're just like May. If her family believes her then they will either physically attack you, shamed in public or get the authorities involved. Either way the stigma of being accused of rape is a lot worse than you think. I am just going to Grey Rock, there's no point trying to confront her anymore. I realize now she is a liar and has no moral compass at all. If she escalates to the authorities then I will respond and prove my innocence easily as I still have texts from her telling me begging me to come over etc. I have nothing to prove to her or her family, it is a waste of time at this point. The previous poster is right, I think her family is part of her problem. Why don't you tell him to ask what guy she was with on Christmas Eve because you know it wasn't you and it wasn't them. It's a waste of time, I provided proof already to them. We hope that by sharing these stories with interested folks like you, we can help people recognize the signs of a relationship in trouble, and avoid so many of these heartbreaking situations yourselves. Have a good day or night. Wherever you are.